Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're kicking off the week by taking a whole stack of sources, a devotional, scripture, some really powerful stories, and turning them into something you can use right now.
Right.
And our mission today is very, very focused. We're unpacking this concept called wisdom for action. And we're going to explore why it's not just some, nice philosophical idea, but maybe the most essential tool for getting through a crisis or even just your career.
That's exactly it. Our main source today comes from the writings of Pastor Warren, and it was actually delivered on a Monday morning, January 5th, 2026, to be exact.
So perfect for us right now.
Perfect. And it goes straight to the book of James. The question it poses isn't, do we have enough knowledge? It's, do we have the right kind of wisdom? The kind that tunes what we believe into what we do when things get tough.
And the whole deep dive really hinges on this incredible promise. It's found in James chapter 1, verse 5.
Yeah, it's so direct, but I think we often just read right past it. It says, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him.
Liberally and without reproach. I mean, that suggests it's just freely available.
It does. But then that begs the question, if it's so easy to get, why do so many people, even really smart people, still feel so lost?
Right. Maybe we're asking for the wrong thing.
Or we don't even know what we should be asking for. We need to define it first.
Okay, so let's unpack that then. If wisdom isn't just, a high IQ or a shelf full of philosophy books, how does the source material actually define it? What are we talking about here?
The author makes a really crucial distinction. Wisdom isn't just collecting facts. It's defined specifically as the correct use of facts.
Correct use.
The correct use of knowledge. It's like the operating system for all the data you have stored in your head.
That immediately makes me think of that wisdom gap you see all the time. We've all met someone who is, academically brilliant, but just can't seem to manage their own life.
Yeah.
They know the entire map, but they can't even get the car out of the driveway.
That is the gap, precisely. The source material talks about these highly educated people, folks with incredible credentials, who, in their daily lives, can come across as, well, the author puts it bluntly, like fools or total dummies when it comes to simple functional choices.
And there's that example in the source of the theological professor. Someone who has spent their entire life studying incredibly complex ideas, maybe has multiple titles.
Right.
But they struggle with the absolute basics of just living. It almost suggests that over-specialization can hide a lack of this fundamental wisdom.
It really can. They might have this incredible depth of knowledge, but they lack the agility to translate that theory into practice. The professor knows everything about theology, but maybe struggles with their personal budget or how to handle a conflict with a neighbor.
That bridge.
Wisdom for action is that bridge. It connects the ideal in your head to the messy reality of everyday life.
Okay, but here's where it gets, for me, really fascinating. That verse from James. It's sitting right in the middle of a section about trials and hardship. So why does the author say we need to ask for wisdom during a trial? Why not, strength or just rescue?
That's the logical first step, isn't it? Our first instinct when we're in pain is just, give me the strength to survive this.
Of course.
But the source offers this really radical idea. We need wisdom to keep us from wasting the opportunity that suffering gives us.
Whoa, hold on. Wasting the opportunity. I mean, that feels a little optimistic. When you're in the middle of real suffering, how can you even think about that?
Well, think about it this way. Strength just helps you endure it.
Yeah.
It helps you get through. Wisdom helps you use it. The author really emphasizes that wisdom is the key that lets us figure out how to use these difficult situations for our own good, for our own growth. It turns this awful interruption into, a maturation process. It's about converting a crisis into a lesson.
That totally reframes the point of going through something hard, and there's an anecdote in the source that it makes this concept unforgettable, the story of the secretary.
It's an incredibly powerful moment. The pastor is visiting this very talented secretary who was just hit by an unimaginable crisis. She suddenly has a stroke.
Okay.
And at the exact same time, her husband goes blind. She's in the hospital in critical condition.
My gosh, I mean, that's just an unbelievable amount of pressure for one person to bear.
It's staggering. And when the pastor goes to see her, he does what you'd expect. He says, I'm going to pray for your strength. I'm going to pray that you'll be resilient.
Right.
But the secretary actually stops him. She asks him what he's praying for. And when he tells her he's praying for strength, she gives him this incredible insight into wisdom for action.
What does she say? What does she ask for instead?
She says, thank you, but could you please pray for one more thing? Pray that God gives me wisdom, lest I waste all of this.
Wow.
She knew that without the right perspective, without wisdom, the pain would just be pain. She would just be broken by it instead of being built by it.
She is literally fighting for her life, and her biggest priority is making sure she learns from it, that she doesn't waste the suffering. I mean, that right there defines this kind of wisdom.
That's the absolute essence of it. It's her ability to apply her deepest belief to her immediate, terrifying reality. It shows that true wisdom sees hardship not as a roadblock, but as like a required course for growth.
So let's try to bring this incredibly powerful idea down to earth. For all of us just starting a normal work week, we're not facing a stroke, hopefully, but we've got deadlines, difficult coworkers, the usual Monday morning chaos. How does this scale down?
What's great about the source material here is that it grounds the whole conversation right away. This devotional was given at the start of the week in a very specific setting. The author mentions that Taiwan was going through this severe, bone-chilling cold snap.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, from the northeast monsoon. The first time in years it really felt like winter. It was just brutally cold and damp.
So even something as simple as the weather demands a little practical wisdom. It's not just about surviving a huge crisis. It's knowing you need to leave earlier because of ice, or, prioritizing a colleague's comfort because the office is freezing.
Exactly. And to deal with our work, our family, and any kind of service we do, the source points to 3 specific qualities we need: wisdom, boldness, or, decisiveness, and patience.
That's an interesting trio. Wisdom and boldness feel a little counterintuitive together. Don't you usually think of wisdom as being careful and reflective? How does that fit with being bold?
That's a great question. And the source clarifies that this isn't about being reckless. Wisdom shows you the right path to take. Boldness is the inner fortitude to actually walk down that path. It stops you from getting stuck in analysis paralysis.
So wisdom is the map.
Yes.
And boldness is having the guts to actually turn the wheel and drive.
Precisely. And then patience is the third leg of the stool. It's the long-term view. It's recognizing that the wise solution often doesn't give you an instant result. So you need wisdom to plan, boldness to act, and patience to see it through.
Let's get into the 2 case studies from the source, because they really prove that this kind of competence, this wisdom for action, isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn through humility. It sort of dismantles the excuse of, oh, that's not my job.
Right. The first one is about the pastor's own preparations for his retirement in 2025. He had to hand over the church's financial oversight, but the team he was training was made up entirely of volunteers.
So not professional accountants.
Right. Not at all. Total non-professionals. And you can imagine that sounds risky for a big organization's finances.
Terrifying. Yeah.
It took tremendous faith. And the author says it took a full year of really intense work just to get to the point where they could produce accurate financial reports. A whole year verifying every single deposit. It was exhausting, but they did it.
So what was the secret sauce there? What allowed a team of non-experts to get to that level?
The source is really clear on this. Success came because the team was humble and willing to learn.
Humility.
But it was an act of humility. The pastor himself had to become a student first to really understand the situation before he could teach. And the team showed their willingness by, admitting when they made mistakes, staying late, and not just relying on how things had always been done.
And that willingness to say, I don't know, even when it's uncomfortable, that has to be the first step toward any real wisdom.
It is. The goal is for that team to be totally independent in 3 years. It's a perfect example of how this kind of wisdom starts with being brave enough to be a beginner instead of just waiting for an expert to show up.
The second story is even more intense. It's the speaker's own military service experience from, decades ago? When he was just a brand new recruit?
Yeah, over 40 years ago. He'd studied engineering and then philosophy, and suddenly he's a rookie assigned to manage training and operations for the largest military drill in Taiwan. He was, to put it mildly, completely green.
And then the person who was supposed to train him just disappears?
Vanishes. His instructor gets hospitalized and never comes back. So the commander's orders were chillingly simple: figure it out yourself.
Wow.
So he's left totally alone to prepare these massive, complex operational plans for thousands of soldiers.
So how did he even start? What did he do?
Sheer necessity forced him to get wise, fast. He mastered the entire curriculum in 1 month. He couldn't just read a manual. He had to go out and consult with other unit commanders, and he worked through the night, every night until dawn, writing these teaching and operations plans from nothing.
Now you have to wonder, is that really wisdom? Or is it just a really effective stress response? I mean, does that kind of pressure actually create wisdom or just efficiency born from anxiety?
That's a really important distinction. The source emphasizes that the outcome wasn't just survival, it was the development of judgment.
Judgment.
That hardship forged these permanent skills he used for the rest of his life. How to reorganize things in a crisis, how to restore order, and maybe most importantly, how to make critical judgments about priority. He learned what's fast, what's slow, and what's heavy enough to demand all your attention. That ability to prioritize in the middle of chaos, that's foundational wisdom.
So the pressure creates the anxiety for sure, but it's the application, the actual work of writing the plans and talking to people that forges the wisdom. It becomes a tool, not just a memory of stress.
Exactly. It became a permanent part of his skill set.
Which brings it all back to you, the listener. This week, when you're faced with something new or unfamiliar at work, what's your first reaction? Is it to throw your hands up and say, nope, not my specialty, I don't do that?
Or are you willing to take on that little bit of burden and actually grow from it?
Now, obviously, the source isn't saying, ask the engineer to suddenly become the company accountant.
Of course not. But it challenges us on the smaller things. The simple home repairs, taking on a new task at work, joining a volunteer project that pushes you out of your comfort zone.
It's an opportunity to gain what we might call a slashy talent, right? To become more multi-skilled and not let unfamiliarity be a dead end for your own growth.
And this whole process is so much easier if you have a guide. The source talks about the importance of having a wise, patient mentor nearby. Someone who uses their own wisdom, maybe from their faith or just life experience, to help you see the path.
Those people are rare, but they are absolutely essential. They're the ones who can look at your crisis and help you see the opportunity inside it.
Absolutely. They help confirm you're on the right track, and they often help you discover potential in yourself, patience you didn't know you had, or capacity for service you never realized.
And that ties everything back to that Monday motivation idea we started with. The final call to action is about connecting this personal growth back to, joyful service.
Yes. The ultimate test of this wisdom for action is in how we interact with everyone around us. The call is to be warm-hearted, to be enthusiastic, to walk into your workplace with a smile, ready to serve.
And that means serving everyone.
Everyone. Your colleagues, your customers, and especially the people who serve us, the delivery drivers, the person at the checkout counter, recognizing the service they provide to us and responding with our own joyful professional work in return.
It's a powerful and really actionable goal for the week. So to kind of sum up the key takeaways from this deep dive, wisdom for action really requires two things. First, that willingness to be a student again, to accept the discomfort of not knowing. And second, that deep understanding that trials aren't just things to survive, they are opportunities to grow.
You have to ask for the wisdom to use the situation, not just the strengths to get through it.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the final thought to leave you with. We started with that promise from James 1.5. God gives wisdom liberally. It's freely available. So if that's true, ask yourself, why are so many people, even people really dedicated to their own growth, still so dissatisfied or confused about their purpose?
If the supply isn't the problem, then the issue must be on our end, in the asking or in the application.
So what specific wisdom do you need today to navigate the problem you're facing right now? Try to move past just asking for endurance. Ask for the wisdom to transform the opportunity that's sitting right in front of you. That choice is the difference between just living through your life and actually mastering it.